What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Nerdy Volume Podcast. And in this episode, we're going to be chatting with Art Casey, creator of Minor Business from Envy Born Games, to talk about not only the game itself, but the mindset and the brains behind it all. And with that, sit back, relax, and don't forget to turn it to 11. We are on. All right. So first off, I want to thank Art for accepting the call and hopping on today's episode. Art, where in the world are you and how are you doing today?
I'm near Dallas, Texas. It's getting kind of hot here, but I'm sure you're feeling the same in Nevada. But
Oh,
yeah, doing well here aside from the heat ramping up,
awesome,
playing a lot of
awesome.
board games.
Yeah, whole bunch I see from behind you. And
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
we're gonna get rolling on this. We got Iz on the episode here. What's up, Iz?
What's up, everybody? I'm
All
back.
right. He is back. All righty. So jumping right into it, man. Art, I was playing that game last night, Mind Your Business, and I got beat 3 times by my wife. I don't know. I don't know.
I beat my brother.
Uh,
I beat my brother.
Yeah, that's good
I
that
had
you're
a plan.
playing it. It is a tough one, though. Oddly enough, I have found after playing it for this long that women tend to be a little better at it generally. Interestingly enough, you know.
It's like they see a mechanic that we don't.
Yeah, I think maybe
um,
the patterns are a little more obvious ahead of time.
Right. Right.
Maybe.
that, or we're just overthinking it. I was definitely overthinking the game last night. Speaking of game, what's the name of the game that we're talking about here, Art? And give a brief summary for those who are not familiar with the game.
Wait, are you talking about Mind Your Business?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, my kitty was licking my toes. I
Mm.
want to say hi. Oh, yeah. So, Mind Your Business was our first major Kickstarter that we did. And, it was an interesting little adventure creating that game because it's certainly not for everybody. You have to enjoy spatial recognition or pattern recognition. It's a spatial thing. Thinking a few moves ahead, but not really tying yourself to a plan. You have to stay a little versatile with it. But yeah, that was a fun one. I'm glad you're getting a kick out of it with your wife.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can do so many moves, and then I always forget to use those bonus actions.
Oh
It's like
yeah.
it's not till like 3 or 2 more turns, right before the car hits the exit, and I'm over here like, oh my gosh, I forgot I have transportation. I should have just done that, you know?
Dude,
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
exactly what you're talking about. Me and Pono was playing it last night, and I was like, "Oh, I can use this right now." And so I do the move. I do teleportation, and he goes, "No, it's from what you're on." I was like, "Oh, it is." Ah, so and I
Yeah.
did that twice. He's like, "You can't do that." I was like, "Oh." I was like, I thought I could, and because like Art said, he's like, yeah, you don't want to, you kind of want to be ahead of the game, but you don't want to stick to a plan. I stuck to the plan and ate it bad at the end. I did
Yeah.
win by one card, but
Oh,
still,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all 3 games she won by 2 cards.
Oh,
I don't know
wow.
why. I don't know why.
Huh.
I was
Oh
like, oh,
dang,
okay, I'm done. I'm gonna
dang.
talk to this
So,
guy tomorrow.
if anybody's watching this and is confused, it's a card game that you lay out in a grid that has different patterns on it, and you're trying to create patterns and extract them from the mine, essentially. But one of the unique things about it is it has a moving target around the board, and that's the only spot you can load or extract those patterns with. So it's kind of like those little puzzles you used to play with as a kid where you have to slide blocks around to make a picture,
Yeah.
you know?
Or
Exactly.
like that one app, Unblock Me, where you have to
Oh
move these
yeah,
blocks out and move the car out of there.
Oh,
hmm
yeah, that a little bit like that too. You're
yeah,
right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if you like those kinds of puzzles, you tend to like Mind Your Business.
Yeah. I love it.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I
It
love the game. I
it
can't. I was
tickles
telling
me.
you.
It tickles me to see so many like great reviews on Amazon and stuff. So
Yeah.
people are liking it overall. So
I don't know. I kept asking my wife if she wanted to play a game. I guess she got tired of winning, and she's like, "No, I got to go to sleep." Like, ugh, play again tomorrow. Fine.
you should try the cooperative one then, so you can win with her. Because playing against the goblin can be pretty difficult.
Yeah,
Right.
or just be
Right.
depressed and play solo by myself. I'm just kidding.
She's like, babe, can I play? No.
No, I'm playing solo. Gosh.
I think
Or
I put more time into the solo in that game than any other aspect. I That was a interesting exercise itself because especially if you look at a lot of the notes in my iPad, creating it kind of felt like Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind, just scribbling all over everything,
Hmm.
trying to balance out the math. Felt way out of my league, but I'm proud of myself for accomplishing it. Also, there's a major game reviewer named Rado who does live playthroughs of board games, and he did a live playthrough against the Goblin that ate him. So,
oh,
I was
geez.
very proud of myself.
You're sitting there like, I did that. I did
Oh,
that to
I certainly
you.
jumped out of my chair with my fist raised in the air.
Yeah. On that. So, we're going into this podcast, this episode. I know a lot of attention, a lot of spotlight is on this game, but I like to kind of shift that spotlight over to you, Art, and kind of pick your brains on certain things. Of course, mention the game as well because it's a phenomenal game.
Oh, thank you.
But can you walk us through your thoughts and your state of mind when you're going through the process of, creating this game, Mind Your Business? One has to be very methodical, very twisted, or a little bit psychotic to create something like this. So, what do you got?
I would accept that maybe, as long as everyone understands that's a safe psychosis.
Yes, this is from good intentions as well.
Yeah, at least it makes other people smile or curse at the table.
Hmm. Hmm.
But oh yeah, I've seen it. Again, mentioning the dynamic of gender on the game, there are a lot of interesting reviews of couples playing Mind Your Business on YouTube, and it's funny because 9 out of 10 times the girlfriend is just stomping. It's really interesting. And my girlfriend did the art for the game, and I designed it. People would expect that I would win most of the time, but can't remember the last time I beat her.
Oh, geez.
But I mean, creating it was a really interesting process.
Mhm.
I think Iz remembers a lot of that time period.
Yep.
I think shortly around that time period, COVID really rocked the earth. So
Oh, yeah.
that helped drive myself a little bit more into my head, I think, and I was able
Mhm.
to hammer out a lot of solo play or just a two-player game. That's not something I had done before. Most of my games have involved more than two people, and I hadn't really done an abstract strategy game, which you could consider this one, even though it has a theme. It does have some really interesting abstract tactic to it as well. And so, yeah, I think ultimately it was more of a challenge to myself. So I wanted to create something that was engaging I had not been able to do before, or I hadn't attempted to do.
Mhm.
So I kept challenging myself to try to keep it at a two-player count, you know. But of course, the publisher was like, "I love it, I'll take it, but we're making it 4 players. Figure out how to do that." And I was like, "Oh, all
Oh.
right." So we compromised. We compromised where you could still buy it as a 1 to 2 player game, but if you combine both sets, you can play 3 or 4 players by making a bigger mine. So
Hmm.
Yeah, and just to throw it out there, I don't just have this one behind me. The second one, because I ordered the second one from Kickstarter, is actually with a friend of ours who's learning the game. So that way, when we do a little game night really quick, we can combine and see.
oh, nice.
Like,
Wow. Well,
yeah,
thank you for supporting it. I appreciate
yeah,
that.
no worries. You got it.
Yeah.
It's funny
Uh,
that you say the second one too, because we have a second one, and I was like, oh, do you want to play the one that is the one with your Kickstarter upgrade, or you want to use this other one? He's like, we'll use the Kickstarter upgrade piece, and then we use the other one. I was like, okay, make sure that we don't we can kind of keep a nice pristine copy. And then I opened both boxes, everything's sleeved and put away together, and I forgot, being homies with art here, like we have to keep it nice, I didn't even realize. I was like, you open. I was like, I realized that both boxes were open and they're all sleeved. Everything's nice and neat. I'm like, okay, never mind. I think we could play with any of these boxes.
Please tell me you guys have played a game where Pono's piece is the goblin.
Oh no, we haven't tried that yet. Can we? We can play. Can we play the goblin? I thought
Yeah,
that was a
you
solo.
can
Oh,
substitute any piece for the goblin. That's why there's also the Kickstarter piece. So
nice.
there was a
Oh.
tier for the Kickstarter where you could get a gnome meeple of yourself made, like a little likeness of you or whatever picture you wanted to send us. So the artist was made, I think, over 40 different unique pieces. Some people wanted their dog or their kid or something. And Pono was one of the people who pledged for that to get a little meeple of himself made. And I'm sure you know Pono. He's like one of the
Yeah.
most adorable humans on the planet. And the picture he sent us, he looked all mean. He was like angry. And I was like, this doesn't represent you, man. And he was like, this is what I want. So we left him looking angry, but we made his meeple pink and we gave
Yeah.
him like fuzzy stuff. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. He loves it. That's his. Oh yeah.
I definitely want to see that now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to see it. It's pretty awesome. It's one of a kind too.
So that whole process, like how many of those were given out? Do you know? Do you know how
I
many
think
of
there
them you
were
had to make?
around 40 unique ones,
Oh,
somewhere around there. Yeah,
that must have been awesome.
I think Matt has a picture where all the images are on one sheet. So
Yeah, because I was just like, wow, there's a lot of like detail. Like when I was looking at it the other day, I was just like, wow, it looks. I was like, it's cool because it also looks like me because we look alike.
oh yeah,
But 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 you got his like beard all perfect, and I don't have my beard like that. So I'm just like, yeah, this is my brother.
yeah,
Oh man. So all right. So you mentioned play testing in the beginning. Obviously we gotta get some positive feedback, some constructive criticism, honest opinions
sure.
of certain games. So obviously you have went through some of those feedbacks, criticism. What are some of the major challenges or adversity or even like positive or negative feedbacks have you overcome during this whole creation process of the game?
Of Mind Your Business itself. Well,
Yes.
there has been a lot of people who believe very strongly about a few particular rules, decisions that we made. Like, for example, many people believe that the action load your cart should be compulsory, like it just happens automatically. Whereas, in the game, you have to spend an action for it, and that eats
Hmm.
into what else you can do. So you always have this feeling of, oh shit, I can't do everything I need to. You
Hmm.
know, that's by choice, though.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
if you loaded the cart automatically, I feel it would make it too easy. But
Mm.
that's one of the things we get pushed back on a lot. But I think ultimately the game isn't for everybody. You have to like that spatial abstract pattern recognition, like I said, and not everybody does. A lot of people like, you know, engine building games or something that gives them an immediate effect, whereas in Mind Your Business, you have to plan a little bit ahead and you have to be patient sometimes and also protective. You have to pay attention to what your opponent's doing. So,
Hmm.
Oh. Um, During the play testing, were there things that you wanted to be or kept in, but because of the play testing, like you took it out? Was there any of them that do you know
hmm.
or do you remember? Like, did you
Well,
pull out? And be like, dang.
there are things that I mean, Mind Your Business was a lot of tweaking and changing little things, balancing out even the patterns on the cards.
Hmm.
There were things that were removed, though. For example, with the goblin originally you had to also catch it. You had to catch it by,
Oh.
if it ends up on a pattern that you can collect, like when you load your cart, if
Uh
it's
huh.
on that strain, then it goes with it, and then you have caught the goblin.
Whoa.
But that,
Oh.
but that
Nice.
ended up being really, really difficult. So I ended up scrapping it, But
Oh, that sounds cool though.
So what would happen if you catch the goblin? Is that like the end the game, or do you get
mm,
like bonus points?
yeah, well, the way it was working was you still had to get a certain amount of um, like resource cards as well, but you couldn't win unless you caught him. You know what I mean? So that was the tricky
Oh.
thing, is you didn't want to catch him right away because then you don't
Hmm.
have enough points. You know what I mean? But you know what's
Hmm.
funny? And next time I'm in Vegas, I'll definitely show you and Pono this at least is, and obviously you're welcome to join too if you'd like. But I did
Sweet.
design a really interesting expansion for Mind Your Business that does change the way it plays a little
Ooh.
bit. And it has a dragon in the mine. And the dragon it's like a chameleon, so it can hide itself and it pops up at different points.
Okay.
But so that's one of the things we're trying to gather as much resources as we can, but
Hmm.
also, so this is going to be a little difficult to describe, but since you guys know the game, maybe you can picture it.
Hmm.
You know how the campfires, you can manipulate those.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
this expansion, they have an additional ability. You can summon a soot. It's like a little black meeple,
No way.
and when you summon it, this little meeple, it will follow you around. But as you move, it keeps its distance. So let's say like you're here, the campfire's here, and you summon a little soot being. As you move, it's going to move with you like this, you
What?
know.
Mm, okay.
So so you have to like try to move and position yourself to land the soot on the dragon, because if you can get enough soot on the dragon, it won't be invisible anymore. You can see it, like
Ooh.
yeah.
Oh
And
wow.
it's a really hard cooperative mode that I made, but it's really fun, and I
Hmm.
wanted to do it as an expansion. We'll see if Mind Your Business can pick up a little bit. If it gets enough, you know, fans behind it, we might be able to publish it one day.
That'd be cool.
So if you can describe that following motion to the listeners, but for all the listeners, if you didn't see that, go on YouTube, check that out because it looked like he was just, if you go up, the dragon goes up. If you go left, it looked like that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it looked like that pretty much.
Apologies, I forget that people do listen to the audio.
Yeah. No worries.
Hey,
No
that's okay.
worries.
Just gotta hop on the YouTube channel, guys. It's all right.
I mean, they at least they didn't have to watch me play with my nipple for 3 minutes.
Yeah. Well, now they know.
Now everybody else is turning off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're just pausing it, going to the YouTube all of a sudden.
you right.
What?
It's like, let me check this
What's
out.
the
Let me.
timestamp? Timestamp.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh man. Okay, so I know with Kickstarter, you got that comment section going on, and then it could be on any of your games, any of the games that you created. Obviously, the comment section can be ruthless. Sometimes it could be all rainbows and butterflies. What kind of comments have you seen that kind of like the first thing that pops into your mind at this moment? Like it's very memorable. What kind of comments are you seeing from not only Mind Your Business but in a different game as well?
Oh well, I have seen some pretty inspiring ones that also kind of make me feel a great sense of imposter syndrome sometimes.
Hmm.
Mhm.
uh, like, that something you create isn't going to appease everybody,
Mhm.
but the people that it does, sometimes it just, you feel it, and you feel the glow in your spirit, like
Yeah.
it's really humbling. And I've read some pretty fantastic comments. I've watched some pretty fantastic reviews. We just did a Kickstarter for a little series of like pocket games, essentially.
Hmm.
And one of the games I created is a two-player drafting game where you are sirens trying to build a song, and lure sailors to your side of the cove. Um, and what's cool about the game is the cards have real music notes on them. So as you play your cards out, you can you're actually writing a little melody with your cards, and you can even scan it with this app, and it'll play your song for you. but
What? Oh yeah, yeah.
but the cool thing is it's been getting a lot of attention,
Hmm.
and a reviewer that I really enjoy gave it, like a 4.5 out of 5, called it his two-player game of the convention he went to, so I was pretty ecstatic to see something like that. you
Nice. And
know
what's the name of that game?
the game is called Sirens.
Sirens. Okay,
Yeah,
Sirens.
It's a mini
yeah,
game.
So you're literally playing, and the game and the song.
yeah,
It sounds like.
Yep.
yeah. It's pretty neat. But I've been, for the past few years, I've just been designing as much as I can.
Hmm.
I think I have like 19 games now.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
And how long did that take you to from like the beginning until now? Like, what was that time span looking like?
I think I've been designing games for maybe a little over 4 years. No, actually, I mean it was around the time COVID started.
Hmm.
That I just really I said, "Fuck it, I'm doing this." Oh, I don't know if I can curse. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
It's all good.
You're
You're good.
fine.
All
Yeah, most of the people that listen are adults, so you're fine.
Yeah, yeah,
you could swear in the woods too.
yeah.
So, yeah, it's been since about then, and I kind of got addicted to it. Interestingly enough, music used to be my thing for most of my life.
Okay.
I devoted a lot of my life to that. But then when I started designing games, it kind of made music take a back seat.
Hmm.
Interestingly enough,
Mm.
it's I think it's also easier to do by myself. you know,
Yep, tough.
yeah, it's been gratifying though. I'm
Yeah.
submitting my Bucky's game really soon, probably within the next 2 weeks. So
Ooh.
I'm excited for that one.
yeah,
Sounds like Iz has a little bit of feedback on that game.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah, almost all the time. I'll try to have it all, but I do what I can.
yeah.
All right. So now so a little over 4 years, you've been in well, how long have you been in the whole gaming industry? Has it always been that over 4 years, you said?
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
have been involved with the tabletop world for 2 decades, probably since at
Okay.
least 2004, I think. Um, but I used to like be a lead playtester for major designers. I've worked
Hmm.
with like the designer of Magic the Gathering, Richard Garfield, for example.
Nice.
Garfield.
So a few other big
That's crazy.
designers, and I also for a while led projects for other publishers. So I would put projects together and build something from a different designer. I would find an artist and I would contact manufacturing and get all this stuff going, create a
Hmm.
product. So it wasn't until the last few years, though, that I decided to design myself. I
Mhm.
helped out a lot of other designers, but I was just like, you know what, I could do this, I think. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
No.
started and just haven't really stopped. And I think one of our next Kickstarters for one of my games that's coming up has played it a few times now. We have a lot of big things planned. We're actually trying to work with the local Fort Worth Zoo here, so we can work with the meerkat exhibit and have a big launch for our game. So
Okay.
but
Nice.
we're donating part of the proceeds to the Fort Worth Zoo so we can work with them on stuff partnership.
Awesome. Oh yeah, yeah. I remember you saying that. You know what? Since you were saying that you helped out, or you helped a lot of game designers. Has anyone reached out to you to ask to help design your games, or has anybody offered, or have you maybe researched other people that may have the same kind of vision you do for games, or
For you mean for like a co-design on something?
Yeah, or something that somebody you want to reach out, be like, hey, what if you want to do this? You know what I mean? Like, and they
Hmm.
helped you with the design. Like, have you considered it? If you have
Yeah,
any, or
I've actually been wanting to co-design a game with someone for a while. I may have something in the works with a designer that's getting pretty large right now,
oh,
but I
Mhm.
don't want to like curse anything and speak too soon,
okay, okay,
So, but it's far enough along that I'm confident. So,
Okay.
um, well, we'll see.
yeah,
But yeah, designing games by yourself is really tough because you need to give it to other people and then just see how they react. A lot of the times, you need to observe, see how the human brain, the ingenuity, tries to break
Mhm.
little things and look for patterns and loopholes that you don't see. And it takes a lot of that refinement, because it's very, very rare that you're going to create something and it works right off the bat. You know,
hmm
you will. It's not like a song where you'll have an idea and then you'll just kind of hammer it out and be like, "Guys, listen to this," and people get goosebumps. Shit doesn't happen with board games.
yeah.
People are like, "This doesn't work at all. It makes me want to punch my dog. Get out of here." They're like, "Oh man, that makes me want to stop game design."
Oh man. So if you were to do a game, co-design a game, what genre would it be, or would it be like the kind of um, games that you have going on in NB Boring Games already?
Well, it's probably not likely you'll find somebody that is truly interested in something you've already started making. For example, if I have a incomplete game idea, it's not likely I'm going to bring it to somebody and they get excited and say, "Yeah, I'll finish this for
Oh,
you,"
I
kind
see.
of thing.
Hmm.
Most of the time when co-designs happen, it will be a mutual creative session where you'll be like, "Well, maybe we can shoot for something like this mechanism. Maybe we can. I really like this. This is what I've been into lately. What do you think we could do with this kind of thing?" So, at least for me, I rarely go into a project knowing what I want to get out of it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And sometimes you'll create something, and this is something I learned actually, fortunately, when I would play test for large designers. Well, let me shut this door. But a lot of the times, designers get too close to their designs, and they will give it to a group to break. Basically, that was one of my jobs as a lead playtester. I had to try to break their game,
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
and sometimes something that they feel is core or essential to the game, you will tell them, "No, you need to get rid of this," and they will fight. They will fight it, but a lot of the times they'll try it and then come around and say, "Okay, you're right." But
Hmm.
it's really easy to find yourself really attached to certain aspects. I could build an entire game off of one mechanism, and if somebody says you need to remove that mechanism, it makes me feel like, oh, well, then nothing else is tied together. So
right, right.
Yeah.
that's the biggest reason why I'm curious to co-design something with someone, because I feel like it might help streamline that process.
Hmm.
This is why authors need editors, because they spend so much of their own head in just engulfed in their own creation that a lot of times they're too close to it.
Yeah.
you know
Oh,
or even with music, you need a good producer.
100%.
So
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
definitely, definitely. So obviously, what got you into music may not be the same reason why I got into board gaming
hmm
and then designing. So my next question to you is what would be one of your motivations in continuing designing games like Mind Your Business? Because it's a pretty awesome game, this one right here.
thank you.
And so what is fueling the fire? Like what's adding to the juices of your creativity? What's keeping it going, basically?
Well, I'm sure you can tell just a little bit behind me that I'm kind of obsessed with the medium. And if you guys want, before the podcast ends, I'll walk you out to the living room where you'll really have your mind blown. But
Oh man, listeners, you got to get on YouTube. You got to
Yeah,
get on
you
YouTube,
already know
guys.
where it's
yeah,
at.
So, but the creative bug has always been running rampant through my body.
It has.
Since I was a little kid, I've always had to create something. I've always admired creation above all, very clever people. And music was the first medium I got to channel my creative. Actually, no, I take that back because when I was young, I was into drawing a lot and I would paint and do
Mm,
watercolors and stuff. But as I got older, I just tried to express myself through many different ways, and I found that I was at most things I really committed to, I was passable at least.
mm,
Yeah.
I would be able to do some decent stuff that I was proud of, and you know, you get reinforcement from fans, people
yeah,
that come across your work and are so inspired by it that maybe they even begin to create themselves, and that makes me feel amazing when I see that. And when I am witnessing people having like genuine fun and a big smile on their face when they're playing a game that I've made. That's enough fire to keep me going for a while. Even the ones that are like, oh, this isn't for me. I'm like, well, you know what? It's for that dude. So, but yeah, I've always enjoyed creation in group form. You know, I think that's one of the reasons why music and board games can overlap. They're both
hmm,
communal artistic endeavors, and or not necessarily in creative mode. Music and board games are usually just enjoyed in the aftermath. But in my position, I'm creating it, and I'm watching the
yeah,
ripples.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
awesome. Yeah, and so like, and you're right. Music and board games, they don't necessarily go hand in hand all the time, but they do have like a little crossover
hmm
as far as creation, especially. Is knows this, but a long, 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 long time ago, I used to write songs, and I was explaining to my daughter earlier today that you need to build a portfolio, and writing songs was my outlet, something that can help me, release some of that emotions that I have, all the thoughts that I have, and I was telling my daughter, like, yeah, if you like drawing, and I'm pretty sure you can attest to this too, like, create a portfolio as well, and you get to see your journey from the beginning, when you first started, until like, oh my gosh, what is that masterpiece that you just
Hmm.
did? You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So, and I think that's what that's like, that just comes with the territory when you're a creator. That's what kind of motivation that you have, and I think Iz can attest to that as well.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you guys both know, like, with all the music that I've been doing, like, creating new music, as I got older, I get more, analytic about it. Like, I was like, oh, I don't really like this because I did this when I was 18, or oh, I really like
mm,
this
Hmm.
because this person did it and they did it better than what I had in mind. And because of that, then you kind of turn into this like, kind of like, perfect. Yeah, it needs to be perfect, and
hmm
and I creation doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be something that you're proud of and something that can inspire someone else. I would say that's
sure.
probably the two parts. So, being able to create anything, whether it's music or board games or art, just,
hmm
Hmm.
it's really, what is it? It's objective sometimes. So,
Sure.
you can't beat yourself up about it. So you just keep trucking, and yeah, and then, and we've gotten to where, like, I'm actually performing this one of the songs that, Runway here has written. You know what I mean? I got to,
Oh,
uh,
nice.
yeah, we got the opportunity to work together. We just need to release it. I'm sorry, Randall.
It's okay. It's all right. It's only been like a
But
decade, but
people
it's
has heard
fine.
it. People has heard the song just live.
Nice.
But anyway,
and I,
Yeah.
and I and I think it comes back to what you were saying too, Art, is that we like to do collaborations, like your
yes,
group, if
hmm
you will.
yes.
Um, and so, with that being said, my next question for you is, obviously, it sounds like you got some more games in the works. What's what's next for you as a creator or a board game enthusiast? Um, And then what's next for minor business? And I think you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but I wanted to see if you can elaborate on it.
Sure. I think maybe the answer still ties back to our previous topic a little bit because we were speaking of how we want our creativity to resonate and maybe even inspire outward. However, I also think it's important for us to inspire ourselves,
Yes.
and that can be pretty difficult. But this is why I think it's important to try and stick with things that are they result in creativity, but use a medium that you will always be critical of. Because if it's simple for you, you won't progress, and you have to always be able to criticize yourself. And if you can look at it and be like, it's not good enough, that's
Mm-hmm.
actually a really good thing because it drives progression and it does make you better. If you're critical of yourself, but obviously you don't want to be too critical of yourself, you just want to allow that criticism and
Sure.
allow it to happen. You also need to understand when you need to be proud too,
Yes.
But
Yes. Yes.
as for the future of board games, it's hard for me to really tell what is coming because I have so many balls in the air.
Mm.
Right now, for example, I'm finishing up the rule book for the Bucky's Roll and Write game, which I'm going to pitch to the gas station chain Bucky's, and hopefully they pick it up. They've already asked for a prototype, so that's pretty exciting because the game itself is about visiting a Bucky's gas station. So that one's happening. I think I have finally finished just probably this week a game I've been working on for about 2 years called Kalahari, and that one's going to be a big project that happens by the end of the year. We'll have a big Kickstarter crowdfunding project for it. That's the one where I said we'll probably be working with Fort Worth Zoo because it's all about adorable meerkats, like I said. And actually, got a little surprise for Iz and Pono in the game too, so don't want to spoil it, but just give a little teaser.
Oh,
Ooh.
what? Oh,
Well,
snap.
but and I've been working on making a few trick taking games recently. I'm really excited about that, and I've also convinced myself to maybe even try to do a little TikTok talking about trick taking games. So I think I'm going to get into that, and hopefully I can get 2 or 3 people listening to me.
we we
But
got two over here already, so.
oh, awesome! Thanks. So I guess to summarize, as long as I can keep inspiring myself, then I have this interesting process where between projects, I become terrified that I've run out of ideas.
Mhm.
I get so scared that I'm not going to come up with anything, and I am also afraid that I'm going to try to force something. But sometimes the gaps are longer than I'm comfortable with, but so far it hasn't dried up. So as long as it comes, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, it's
So,
exactly it, and basically what, especially what you just said at the beginning is, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice just makes progress. You just want to keep
yeah,
trekking forward.
that's a great
Definitely,
way to put it.
man. Art, this game is awesome.
I
I don't know how
appreciate
many
it.
times I keep saying, but it's right here over here. But um, so obviously there's going to be more in the works from Art here. Where can we find you? Like, are you on social media? What website can
Um,
others find you?
you can always contact me through the main publisher that I'm working with, which is Envyborn Games.
Okay.
I'm actually going to be working on a few projects with them even closer pretty soon.
Hmm.
That's another thing I'll keep under wraps for the moment. But you can also use the book face. Find me under Art Casey. I got a goofy grin on my face holding up some games. So um, I will. I think I am going to start this. I'm saying it on a podcast, so I got to do it now, or I'm a punk. So I'm
Yeah, you
going to
heard it here
start
first,
this.
guys.
Going to start this TikTok.
Started
So just
here.
look for trick talk.
Yeah.
Ooh, all right. And of course, we're gonna link that out. So as soon as he puts it out first, you best believe Nerdy Volume's gonna post it out there for you
Yes.
guys.
I appreciate that, guys.
For sure, for sure. So now before we land the plane here, and before we get to see, you know, the
Sure.
surprise, if up to you if you still want to do it.
Yeah, I can shake.
I want to play a little. I guess call it a game, but just a fast five is what it's called. And basically, you're gonna choose three numbers between 1 and 10. And don't worry, there's a little method to my madness, but you just gotta tell me the three numbers between 1 and 10.
Ooh.
Go ahead and shoot.
Can it include 1 and 10?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna say 2, 8, and 10.
All right. You want to hit the first question?
All right. All right. Wow. Okay. The first.
It's very funny when Iz is on here, and the way he just says the question. It's
all right. What is? Okay, here we go.
so fast five basically is we got 5 questions for you, Art, and we're gonna say, for example, my favorite color is, and then you say my favorite color is red. Obviously, some of these questions you don't have to say it line, word from word. Just say the response if you want to.
Okay.
But here
Is this
we
a
go.
pin? Is this a pin 15 joke?
No. All right. Okay. So wait,
If you wanted,
you want me to
I'm
say the
kidding.
first one out of the ones he chose, or are you gonna start the game?
Oh, I'll start it.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
start it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So number one, my all-time favorite board game is.
My all-time favorite board game is Concordia.
Ooh,
Okay.
juicy.
Juicy.
Juicy. Alrighty.
That
Okay.
hasn't changed for a few years, so I think it's safe to
Nice.
call it that. My favorite one.
I was surprised you had one. Not gonna lie. Considering what I can
it's a
see
tough
over your
one.
left shoulder.
I know. Yeah. Like I would have thought you would have need like 10 minutes to think about that one, but nope, you're good. All right. And then with all expenses paid for, I will pack my bags and go to or travel to where?
With all expenses paid, I would go to Vietnam.
Nice.
Ooh.
That's cool. All right.
Their
What's
cuisine, alone, man.
Okay.
I'm there.
I was just gonna ask you.
I'm there to eat.
Heck yeah. Okay. All right. This is the one that I was supposed to say. The most creepiest thing a person can say to someone is.
The creepiest thing a person can say to another would be, "Baby, I'd like to service your cervix."
Strangers, y'all. Strangers.
Oh, I thought this was supposed to be to our mother.
And when she says, "My name is Art."
Buy my board game.
All right.
I love it. Love it.
If I can eat one food or dish for the rest of my life, it would be.
If I could eat one food for the rest of my life and it would be magically absent of bad metals, it would be sushi.
Yeah.
Sushi sans mercury. That's my answer.
Can't go wrong with sushi. Cannot go wrong with
No.
sushi. It's all good. All right. Last one here, the fifth one. If I could live in any fictional world, I would live in.
This one might be the toughest so far. If I could live in any fictional world, it would be.
Ooh.
Maybe Toy Story.
Okay.
That works.
We'll just make it broad.
Yeah.
Pixar,
I mean, there's not a lot of really terrible things that happen in the Toy Story
Right?
universe.
You just be like trying to look for it and fall down.
Yeah, and maybe I'll get a springy torso.
Yeah.
Oh man, love it,
Oh,
love it. All right, Art. Yep, that was it. Fast Five. No connections to the Fast and Furious franchise
Oh
whatsoever.
man, that's the
I
only
know,
reason I answered those questions.
I know. We were doing it for the family. All
for the
right.
family.
Did
All
you guys
right.
want to see the museum?
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see what I can show a little bit. Does it give me this? Okay. So there's some in here. You guys can see.
Some, he says.
Yeah. Got to do some walking.
He said
Just a
some.
little bit of walking.
I'm kind of afraid now.
Oh yeah, I'll save the best for last for sure.
He's got that
So
Ultra Instinct Goku music.
got another shelf there.
Whoa.
All right, and then another one here,
It's a beautiful
Sheesh.
thing.
I
and
know.
then
This behind me, guys, is nothing.
we do have
Nothing.
some packing stuff in the way of some of it because we're about to fulfill the Kickstarter. But so you guys will start here.
Oh.
Ooh.
Y'all, if you
Okay.
aren't watching it, y'all should. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, there's more.
Oh.
Yeah, all
There's
the way.
and people playing board
Yeah.
games. Okay. Okay. All right.
That's awesome.
You guys had to see it.
Dang. Guys, whew. Yeah, stop listening to us. Go watch the video. Go on YouTube. Come on.
Cool. Yeah,
All right. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for
bro.
that
Thank you so
tour.
much.
yeah, no worries.
And
If you're ever in Dallas, come play a game.
yeah, for sure. I'm definitely gonna do that too. I'm gonna hit you up. I got your number, so you're good. All right, Art. One final thing before we cut you loose here. I know we talked a lot about board games, your headspace, the mindset, the creativeness. What is one thing you would say to our listeners or viewers? Just anything in relation to what we just talked about just now.
Ooh. Like words of wisdom, maybe? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
do
would
that.
say be wary playing leapfrog with unicorns.
Oh,
Words to live by,
oh
listeners.
man.
Y'all heard it here first.
You go far.
Art Casey, y'all.
Remember the wisdom.
Art, man. Thank you so much. It's been a
Hey,
pleasure
thank
having you
you.
on.
Yeah, it's been awesome. A lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. Thank you guys.
Awesome. Well, definitely. Yeah. Again, guys, if you guys are just listening, what are you guys doing? Just go watch the video.
And pick up your copy.
Anyways,
Mind
yeah,
your
yeah, for
business.
sure. Mind your business. This one right here. If you watch the video, it's right over here. There's two covers.
She's trying to hide,
Make
but
sure-
here's the artist.
Oh,
Oh,
hey.
hello.
Sorry, I'm just looking for.
All right. Well, thank you again, Art. Thank you so much for hopping on the call here, hopping on the podcast. We had a lot of fun. We weren't
Me
playing
too.
games, but man, it'll be a lot better from where, right?
Soon. We'll get it done soon.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
All
Thank
right.
you again. Have a
See
good
you
night.
later. You too. Thank you. That wraps up this episode. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also catch us on YouTube where all of our content is at. Also, please leave a review for this podcast as it'll help us grow. And I'm going to go ahead and put down the Discord link down here at the bottom so you can come and hang out and chat with us. Thank you again, and don't forget to turn it to 11.